No, thank you. Sleepy. Come back in an hour.
Need sleepy.
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God!
It's now time for the Billy C. Morning Show, part of the Billy C. Boxing Network. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C. Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C. Morning Show. I hope everybody's doing okay this fine morning. Today's show is being brought to us in part by Sal's Pizzeria, an Italian restaurant located in beautiful St. Simon's Island, Georgia. And if you're in that area, we hope that you stop by my man Sal's place. You can check out his menu online, www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com. Or you could give my man a call, 912-268-2328. That's 912-268-2328. And also, today's show is being brought to us in part by the JKJ Boxing Magazine, which is available right now. It's a quarterly magazine, which is free. You know, it's free. I mean, and it's real free. You know how when some people say, "Oh, well, it's free," but it's really not free. This is free. Basically, all you got to do is pay for the postage if you want the hard copy. If you just want to read it online or download it and print it out yourself, you could do so. Now, you want to get a copy of JKJ Boxing Magazine, it's real simple. Visit our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click on the banner, which is on the right-hand side. You can't miss it. JKJ Boxing. It's got this month's magazine cover on it. It'll take you right to where you want to go and download it. Check it out. And like I had told you guys, I'm going to be submitting some stuff on that as well. Anyway, listen, this morning, my man Sal, Rocky Cencola, and Jeremy C. Jeremy's not with us today. Well, I mean, he's with us, but not with us on the show. But the bottom line is we are having some technical difficulties reaching my man Sal because Sal is having some problems, some technical problems. So we're going to try and get him on the back line. But the bottom line is this: we are going to be opening up the phone lines a little bit later in the show, in about a half hour, and you guys are going to drive the show today, and we want to hear from you. So when I give you the signal, you give us a shout, and we can get you online. Now, tomorrow, we will not be doing a live show. We will not be doing a live show. Oh, I'm sorry. I think that's next week. We're good. We're good to go tomorrow. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on here. But anyway, we got my man Sal. I believe you're on the backup line right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened. My whole internet went down.
Yeah, I know. We're having some issues connecting with you. I know you're having some problems, but that's why we have a backup system. So we're joined right now by my man Sal, Rocky Cencola, and let's get this party started. Sal, the big news today, believe it or not, that's coming out. And by the way, I got some emails to read, and I got an update on our adopted college baseball team, the Keene State Owls. I'll get to that in a little bit. But the main topic today that I'm shocked that somebody would even suggest this. Now get ready, Sal. I can't see you because we're on the backup system, but I think you better be sitting down for this because it's. I mean, we're always talking about how boxing was better back in the day and blah 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 and all of this stuff. Okay, but this is I'm shocked that somebody would suggest this. So before I even say it, I'm going to say this. It's along the lines, at least in my opinion, about where the NFL is trying to eliminate the kickoffs to help promote the safety of the players, which I think would be a travesty for the NFL. Well, get ready for this. There's been some concerns and discussion that boxing must ban head punches, must ban punching fighters in the head. Now, this is in reference to Nick Blackwell, who's in an induced coma right now. As far as I know, he still is after his fight from Chris Eubank Jr. And we've also had some horrific situations where people have died recently in the ring or still in coma, like Colin Pritchard is still battling. He's been in a coma for months. We've had some long-term injuries like Mago Abdulzamov. So I mean, listen, I understand, but Sal, can boxing ban head punches?
No.
I mean, who would suggest this? Who would suggest this?
Well, it's the feel-good groups or some concerned fans, and let me tell you, it's the well-being police wanting to ensure and take away one's right to make a decision. I mean, Billy, I'm shocked. I really don't know what to say to this. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody, and I'm sure. But when we're young, Larry Hazard made a point yesterday when we were discussing this with him, and we're gladiators. When you enter the field of battle in a boxing ring, you took it upon yourself to set yourself apart, to put yourself in a rare breed, a rare class that steps into an area of conflict, a ring, where you can't run, you can't hide. And you've got to count on be resourceful on your mental and physical toughness and agility and skill set. And some fighters and people are more skillful at things than others. Well, it's all revealed inside that squared circle. And when you're looking at the history of boxing, the inherent problems of head trauma has been since day one. I mean, I knew these things. My father, my kids want to box. My one young son, Nicholas, Nicky.
Of course.
And I told him, I'm not encouraging him right now. He's 13, but I'm training him a little bit and teaching him a little bit how to defend himself. But I told him I want him to first wrestle. If he could show me he can wrestle in school, which he did this year, he had a very successful season. I wanted to see if he could take the dedication and the commitment of going to practice and going into the matches. And he did. I still not really encouraging him to fight, but I will teach him, and maybe we'll get him some amateur fights and see how he likes it. But, I remember my father having the same discussions with me when I was young. I was 14, 15 when he first brought me to a gym in Patterson, New Jersey, and then in Dumont, New Jersey with Eddie Helbig and everybody else. And saying, hey, Sal, this is a very dangerous sport. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with you partaking in it. And we learn about the travesties. We hear, even in the amateurs, there were fighters that were hurt, paralyzed, or even killed. And, I was on the All-Army boxing team, and there was a young Cuban fighter that was also on the All-Army boxing team with me. And he was a great young fighter. His name was Arnaldo Bora, if I remember correctly. And this is in the 70s. And I was just getting out of the service, and I was starting my college, but I talked to one of my old buddies from Boston. He was a professional, but we fought on the Arm boxing team together. His name is Kenny Butler. And Kenny told me that Arnaldo Mora just died. They had fought in a national championship fight tournament. I think he might have even fought Johnny Bumpus. And he took a lot of head blows, and the fight went, I think, the distance, and he later sat in the stands with the other fighters. He started getting the chills, then he vomited, and then by the time they realized he had a brain hemorrhage or something going on, he died. And that slaps you in the face at 18 years old, 19 years old. But these are the things that we inherently or we realistically know that is possible. and we're warned. But we still choose because we're a rare breed. We're fighters. It's not going to happen to us. But unfortunately, we kid ourselves too. If you're not careful, if you're not doing what you have to do to fight, to win, to defend yourself. So I really believe in my heart of hearts, you want to stop in football, punt returns, or kickoffs. You want to stop in boxing, head punches. I mean, it's changing the whole game. And why not? Let's lower the bar and call it what it is. It's an era of we got to have the feel good police look after us, because we can't look after ourselves. We can't defend ourselves. I think there should be more precautions.
You know how you get more precautions with something like that. Like I've talked to Larry Hazard many times. The trainers that are allowed to be a trainer today, there's no policing of them. So the kid that gets beat up in the ring, whether he's a pro or an amateur or whatever, that doesn't know how to defend himself, that's not proficient in defense or knows how to roll with a punch or which reduces the risk of head injury and other serious injuries. It's the training methods. It's the same thing with any sport. If you have somebody that's teaching you how to tackle and they're not teaching you how to tackle right, you're more prone to injury. There's no other sport on the planet, Sal, that allows a someone that is in a teacher's role to perform teacher's duties with no training. A trainer, all they have to do to train a fighter and to be the chief second during a pro boxing event is paid a $25 or whatever the license fee is for that particular commission and state to be a cornerman. That's it. Right. I could go in. I've never trained a fighter in my life. I feel I know the sport very well, but I've never claimed that I'm a trainer. Yes, I'm critical sometimes, a lot of times, with fighters and this and that, but I've never once claimed to be a trainer or put myself in the same position as a trainer. But I will tell you this, there's a hell of a lot of guys out there, Sal, that don't know how to train. And if people want to see ways to prevent injury, let's start policing who we allow as trainers. Why can't we incorporate an educational program to force somebody that wants to be a trainer, in addition to having $25 in their pocket, make them have some kind of certificate, make them go through some kind of training where we can police and make sure that the kids that are learning how to fight are learning how to fight, not just rah-rah men. That's what most of the problem is, Sal. That's what we're lacking, which we didn't lack in years gone by.
Well, you're talking 100% the truth about what is needed on that level, because I'm not too up on some of the trainers other than the trainers of yesteryear, the trainers that still were in the game either as fighters when I was fighting or something else, and the Frey Roaches, the Teddy Atlases, my favorite trainers for me, I love Don Turner, who trained Evander Holyfield. He was a great trainer for me. He knew the ins and outs of fighting. He knew the ins and outs of his fighter. Also, Richie Giacchetti, God rest his soul, he just passed away a little while ago. Richie knew the damage, knew the trauma, knew the dangers, and these some trainers do, and they do. It's the old school though. They do, but what you're saying is so true. All you have to do is pay a little permit. You could be licensed as a trainer,
right?
And in a corner. And I don't want some novel guy making the decision. I think a fighter, it should be his free will to see if he can go on or not. I was in my fight, that 10-round war I had down in Tennessee. The doctor came to my corner 3 times, wanted to stop the fight. I pleaded and begged him not to. I had 130 stitches, 4 cuts, 2 perforated eardrums, a separated retina, but I went on the damn fight and I won.
Well, but the mentality. Hold that thought, Sal, because I got to take a break here, and I'll tell you what. I got a message popped up that says that other connection might be better. So what I'll do is during the break, I'll try and get you on the other end. Okay?
Yeah, you got it, buddy. I got the same message. So that's
All right,
fine.
man.
Thanks.
So we'll be
All right,
back
bye-bye.
in about 2.
The Billy C. Morning Show will be right back.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com, and tell them Billy C sent ya.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now, back to the Billy C. Morning Show. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
Yeah. And we're back. You're listening to the Billy C. Morning Show. Glad you guys could join us. And speaking of joining us right now, we're joined with my man Sal Rocky Cencola. We're still having some technical issues, so we got him on the backup system. And I'm assuming you're there right now, right, Sal?
I am right here, buddy. Yes, I have, and I've just been contemplating and thinking about what we're discussing. And you know, it's a real sensitive and touchy topic, and it could change a lot of things in the world of sports as we know it.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, you know, you and I talked, I think it was last week, about, you know, how a lot of, you know, let's face it, moms and dads are turning, you know, all the kids into a bunch of petunias. And I understand. I got kids. I love my kids and grandkids more than anything else on the planet. And I would never want to hurt them or have them in a situation to be hurt or anything like that. But, you know, you got to live. And, you know, it's like the simple thing, you know, when I was a kid, and that wasn't that long ago, but when I was a kid, and
You and me both, pal.
I know. We walked the planet when, you know, when Jesus was still around, and they were still forming rocks and boulders and stuff. But still, the truth of the matter is this: you know, when we played sports, little league level, Pop Warner football, etc., you know. You had winners, you had losers, you had champions, you had, you know, teams that weren't as good, you had all-stars, and everybody was you know, rewarded for that. Well, today it's so much different. You know, you don't get the first place trophy anymore. You get a participation trophy. Every kid gets one. Every team gets one.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not fair. No, the parents don't want to keep score in games. You know, I mean, come on. We don't want to offend little Johnny because, you know, his team lost. We don't want to ruin him. But yet, all the stats show that, you know, you have kids with problems that are on medication are at an all-time high, things that we never even were subjected to. You know, I just think that you know, it's a form of laziness. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I believe that parents should look out for their kids, of course, and I think that your kids' safety and health is priority. But on the other hand, I mean, you know, don't look for a magic remedy. You know, your kid is out of control. Don't look for a magic pill to give him so that he's manageable, because that causes, we're seeing the studies, it causes problems down the road. And, you know, all of this, let kids be kids. Let kids grow up. Let kids be competitive. Because, Sal, don't you agree that a certain level of competition, whether it be sports or a spelling bee, isn't that good for the development of a child?
I think it's necessary, and I will tell you this. I grew up in a generation where you were measured by how tough you were. And if you got slammed down on a football field and you got back up and you went on to win or run, that measured your toughness. That measured the competitiveness inside your spirit. And I think we're nullifying a lot of this by putting my kids wanted to play football. Their mother didn't want them to play football. And so, I mean, soccer's a great game. Yes, I understand that. But it's also I would love the fact that my kids had the opportunity to play football, to try for themselves, to see. But unfortunately, they didn't. They didn't play competitive football.
See, that's exactly that's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, you have, their mother didn't want them to play because she's concerned for the safety. She hears, they get head injuries, they break the bones, they do this, they do that, so let's not let them play. Well, I got news for you. Soccer's no powder puff sport either. There's no equipment.
No.
They're running full force, and when they collide, they have no protection. Maybe they're not purposely trying to tackle somebody, but they definitely still have injury. Same thing. A lot of parents think baseball is 100% safe. When a 100-mile-an-hour fastball hits you in the face, I mean, come on. So we can't live life in a bubble. We can't. You can't. And the thing is this, and kids today, they're so fragile. And I don't mean to we're totally off topic, but, it just seems that, the parents, us, it's our fault that the kids are so fragile. Have you ever heard, Sal and I are the same age. So Sal, when we were growing up, did you ever hear, I mean, there were kids that got picked on and stuff like that. They didn't go and kill themselves. Now somebody gets bullied, and not even physically. They're getting bullied verbally, and they're committing suicide at alarming rates. Why is that? Why are kids driven? Every normal kid growing up goes through their trials and tribulations, ups and downs and everything else. But that's part of maturing. Nowadays it's so fragile that you're afraid that a child, your own kid or whatever, gets bullied and that they're going to go lock themselves in a room and commit suicide. I mean, it's alarming. There's no question. But where did it all start? I think overprotection.
I agree with you 100%. Let me tell you about it. Because, my ex-wife and I, we had a whole different mindset on how we want to raise the kids. And not that I was careless in any way, shape, or form with wanting to expose my kids to the competitive nature of sports and letting them. I wanted my boys to be boys and to not to bring sexism or anything in it, but I want them to get their knees dirty and scraped and do things. And they did. They did. And, Sal, my son Sal, he's like a freaking pit bull on the soccer field. He just played the last game for his high school team. He's a captain of the high school team. And he played his heart out. He's a winner. Runs, he does everything. He's a fullback. He's a tough son of a gun, and he's going into more collisions, banging his head. One of his teammates had a concussion yesterday, hurt his head. So there are those venues that are still going to subject our children and our loved ones and everybody to possible head trauma or possible injury. But that's the competitive nature of what we do, how we evolve, and that's the sports and the field of endeavor that we choose, either on an amateur, scholastic level, or as a professional venue that we say, hey, this is what I want to do for a living for the time being. Now, you could do things. You could have the medical staff and doctors oversee certain things. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, every year when a fighter has to get his head examined, I mean, he's got to take a MRI, and things like that to make sure all the cavities in the brain is not too cavernous or so. And even when I made my comeback fight 3 years ago, almost to the day, April 13th of 2013, I had to go through extensive medical tests and MRIs of my brain, and a neurological exam, a psychological exam, a physical stress test. And thank God, at 53 years of age, I passed every test incredibly well. And even the doctor, the neurologist who read my CAT scan or MRI said, hey, Sal, I shouldn't tell you this because I know your personality, but your brain's perfect. You can afford to take a lot more punishment than what you've done. I
tell you what. They when they were doing head scans for you, they weren't looking for the condition of your brain. They were just saying, why does this guy in his mid-50s even want to fight? I mean, what's wrong with him? He's obviously got a screw loose, So,
absolutely.
Crazy. But anyway.
But, but here's another thing, though. I know we got off topic, but here's another thing. And I talk to doctors about this. There are more people predisposed to head injury and trauma, and maybe their brain is not as likely to take as much punishment as others. I mean, let's make a on this level. Who in a boxing ring, who's contemporary, is still alive today, took more punishment and more head blows than Jake LaMotta? And Jake's in his 90s, and he's still alive and kicking, still in good shape.
Sharp as attack.
And
Sharp as attack.
Sharp as attack. He outlived many of his opponents. He outlived his young wife. I mean, and he's still walking the street.
He outlived all.
Jake.
He outlived all his wives.
He did. He outlived all his wives. That's a case in point. And I talked to doctors, and like I said, they said a lot of fighters or a lot of people are just predisposed to more head trauma and more injury than others. And even the doctor that probably saved my life in a sense when I got sutured up after that war I had down south. It was 2:00 in the morning. I'm getting the 130 stitches put in my head, my eyes, and I said, "Hey, buddy, I just got my world ranking or so tonight. I'm going to probably fight for the title soon." And even though I was supposed to fight Johnny Bumpus, that never came off. But the whole thing was, here I was getting sutured up and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know you're a young man. You're in great shape. Let me ask your age." I said, "Well, I'm 26. He said, "Do yourself a favor." I said, "What?" If you want to have a life, if you want to play with your grandchildren, if you want to do things after the sport of boxing, think about retiring when you're 28 years of age. I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, he will let me know." He was on the board of Muhammad Ali, and what he for his head trauma that was going. It was pretty evident back in 1986 when this occurred for me. He said, "Well, I'm on the board of directors with the medicine, and we're investigating Muhammad Ali, and we think he took a lot of his heavy fights after the age of 28. Surely George Foreman, another Frazier fight, Ernie Shavers, all these big thumpers." And they said that that's when we feel that all the damage occurred, because at the time, your skull with your brain, there's a lot of fluid in it at the time when you're younger, and this fluid, I equated or analogized to albumin in the egg, the whites, and the yolk being your brain. Shake it around, the albumin is going to protect the yolk from leaking or so. But for some reason, when you're 28, a lot of this fluid has dissipated from your skull, and any more trauma to the head at that time leaves the scarring and leaves the brain tissue being damaged by bouncing off the skull. So maybe we got to put an age or the CAT scans, or just some things that could be a little more in place to protect these athletes. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I think everyone should have a free will, and as long as they can pass the medical exams and the test, they can make their own decision.
Yeah, there's no question
That's
about
all I
that.
have to say.
No. There's no question about that. And one of the things I've said all along is that I believe that mandatory head scan prior to a fighter's turning pro should be a requirement. Then this way, when and if that fighter gets knocked out or something like that, a doctor will have a comparison scan. They can do a follow-up scan, and then they have what you assume is a good scan, the original one, and compare it. Because right now they'll do a scan, but they're only looking for what's not defined or what's defined as what it should be as normal. But you know as well as I that your head scan could look slightly different than mine, and that doesn't mean that either one of us has an abnormal scan, So
Right.
As far as the age, in today's world, that's a touchy subject. We try to be so politically correct. If I want to, like you. You're a different case. Nobody could talk you out of it. But, you could make an argument that, a state doesn't let you fight. You could be like, well, wait a minute. That's called age discrimination. You're not letting me fight just because of my age. If you can come up with a medical reason why I can't fight, that's a different story. But if you're just putting on hey, nobody can fight after X amount of years old, well, that becomes, that becomes something that, is a prejudice. I mean, it's a discrimination just because of your age. But,
Well, exactly, and we had a classic example that we all experienced not that long ago. But it was it's something, and like I said, you made a good comment. Yeah, there should be some kind of plateau or some kind of scan that a doctor or that the commission should be able to look at and see medical staff or bureau that, hey, there is a degenerative condition going on here. His brain scan doesn't look quite as healthy as it did a year earlier or 2 years earlier.
That's all they need. That's all they need to do to decrease. And they're worried about a lot of the commissions, and we got to take a break here, Sal, but a lot of the commissions are worried about the cost. The fighters can't afford it. The promoters shouldn't have that burden. But at some point, the cost should be an underline. The thing is what's more important, the safety of the fighters or the cost of an MRI? Come on.
There's another case for Obamacare.
Yeah, please. Well, that's a good segue for us to take a break, and we'll look forward to you on tomorrow's show, my man, and hopefully we can get that technical situation fixed, and we will look forward to that tomorrow. All right.
I will look forward to it. You take care. Have a great day, and we'll see you. And Godspeed. Be well.
All right, my man. Talk to you soon.
Take care. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
That's Sal, Rocky, Cencola. You can catch him here in the mornings on the Billy C. Morning Show. I'll be back in 2.
The Billy C. Morning Show will be right back.
Hey, fight fans. Check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com, and tell them Billy C sent ya.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C. first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to the Billy C. Morning Show. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. I think the coffee affects me in the morning, man. Most people it takes them a while to get up and going, but since I got to get up several hours prior to us going live to write the show and do all the things we got to do to air, I'm awake. I'm awake. So anyway. We're going to be opening up the phone lines here in a couple of minutes, so if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns, get ready to hit the dialer. I'll give you the number when we got it open, but right now I want to give you an update on our adopted Division III baseball team, the Keene State Owls. I told you yesterday that they had a game yesterday against Trinity, and they won. That's right. It was a good game. They won 6-4. Alan Schiff got the W as the pitcher. He went 7 solid innings and evens out his current season record at 1-1. The save was picked up by Keith Simpson with 2 innings of shutout baseball, which is always good to have a closer that can do that. On the offensive side of the ball, Dustin Howe, who's a senior, and he's also the DH, went 3 for 3, including a walk. And their shortstop, who also is a senior, Billy Hartman, was 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. And in playing center field, Joe Libby also was 2 for 4 with an Aribi. So our Keene State Owls, now they're 8-7. So we got over the hump. We're over 500. And today at 3:30 they play Framingham State U. That's short for university for all you boxing people that don't know. So check out our website, www.billycboxing.com. Click on the Keene State Owls banner, which is on the left-hand side, and try to support this team. If you're in the area and you can go check out that team, go do it, man. And make sure you tell them Billy C sent you, just to keep you updated on our Owls. They moved into 3rd place with the win yesterday. Now, there's over 20 games left of the regular season, but they're in 3rd place in their conference, which is the Little East Conference. And if the season would end today, guess what? They would be in the playoffs. But anyway, did you hear about Whoopi Goldberg? She announced yesterday that she's in the medical weed business. You know, hold on. Yeah, she's in the weed business. Woo. You know, she is making it along the lines where she's going to design some, pot products that help menstrual cramp relief. So for all you women out there that are looking to get some menstrual cramp relief, smoke a couple of joints, man. According to Whoopi Goldberg, that helps. Now, she also is going to make some weed edibles so that she can eat the weed. And if you've seen any recent pictures of Whoopi Goldberg, I think she's been sampling the weed edibles just a little too much. If I was her, I would maybe learn what a friggin' treadmill is. Because she looks like she's a weed eatable away from 500 friggin' pounds, Whoopi. When I saw Whoopi after she smokes a couple of joints, she's Whoopi. But the bottom line is this, all right? Whoopi Goldberg, when you look at a picture of Whoopi Goldberg, you can barely see that Whoopi Goldberg must be inside that fat bitch that you see. That happens to be the Whoopi Goldberg of 2016. And since when did Whoopi Goldberg even become relevant to anything that anybody gives a crap about? I happened to notice on the news yesterday that she was given, along with some other women, all kinds of crap to Susan Sarandon, because Susan Sarandon said she was going to support Donald Trump. And they all said, you should be supporting Hillary Clinton. Let me just, I just don't understand this, And I believe a lot of it happened when Obama got elected the first term, okay? Not so much the second term, but the first term. Dennis Green said it best, all right? Dennis Green, in case you don't know who Denny Green is, he was one of the NFL's top premier coaches, and he was a black dude, all right? He coached the Minnesota Vikings, extremely successful, very good coach. Then the NFL adopted this rule that if you were looking for a new coach, that you had to interview some black coaches, some African-American coaches, in order to, not seem prejudiced, all right? Well, Dennis Green, because of his success, always seemed to be the guy that was getting interviewed, but he never got the updated jobs. So he went in front of the mic, in front of the cameras, in front of the world, and said, hey, I appreciate the NFL trying to keep coaching on an equal playing field and give the opportunity to African Americans. He says, but I don't want to be the interviewed black guy to get the job and not get the job. I want to be interviewed because I'm the best candidate for the job. Well, shouldn't that be the same principle we follow for our presidency? Some of these women like fat Whoopi Goldberg. She is mad at Susan Sarandon, who still looks pretty hot, I might add, for a woman that's no spring chicken. All right, I mean, she's critical of Susan Sarandon for supporting Donald Trump and not supporting Hillary Clinton because Hillary Clinton's a woman running for presidency. She says, well, the woman power, women should get, we need to vote for Hillary to get a woman in office. Are you kidding me? You're going to vote for her just because she's a woman? You're not going to vote for the person you think is the best person for the job? I'm not saying that Susan Sarandon is right or wrong, but, if you believe that Hillary's the right person for the job, different story. But, don't vote for her just because she's a woman and you're a woman. It's the same thing. When Obama was elected the first time, a lot of black Americans, African Americans, voted for him just because he was black. They didn't even understand any of the policies or anything. They just went and voted for him because he was black. Maybe he was the best guy for the job at the time. I don't know. It's a matter of opinion. He won the vote. You got to assume that the public thought so. But my point is you vote in whatever you're doing, you vote for the best person for the job. If you're voting for someone just because of the color of their skin or just because of their sex, all right, you're being prejudiced. So I mean, come on. Whoopi Goldberg, go smoke a couple of more joints. Go eat another couple of boxes of your weed brownies. Gain another couple of 100 pounds, and maybe they'll wheel you into the show the next time. Whoopi Goldberg has turned into be such a nauseating woman. I don't know. Talk about nauseating. Did you see, not that this is big news or anything, but did you see that there was a subway passenger who sleeps? Now, if you commute to work and you're in a metro area and you're going into the city or whatever, a lot of people use the subway as transportation, right? Well, this guy was sleeping, and a friggin' rat. I'm not talking about a snitch. I'm talking about a rat, all right, crawls on his neck while he's sleeping. And then there was another passenger who was right there. And he's even published his name. His name was Anthony Lynn. Whips out his cell phone and records the video. I'm not lying. It's on the internet. Go check it out. Records on video the rat crawling on this guy's neck. What has happened to this country? Why would a guy record it instead of trying to wake the poor bastard up to get the rat off his neck? Instead, he figures it's going to make good PR, and it did, because I'm talking about it. He records it. He takes the extra second to record the rat crawling on the guy's neck rather than help the guy out. I mean, that's what this country has become. It's comical and sad all at the same time. It really is. It really is. But anyway, let me get you some news. What went on last night in boxing and some other sports actually too. I'll get you caught up with some scores. Then we're going to open up the phone lines. Devon Lee beat Chris Galliano in a pretty entertaining scrap yesterday at the BB King's Blues Club and Grill down in the city. It was part of Broadway Boxing's series. Wednesday nights they do that. After they fought for 10 rounds, the way the judges scored it were 97-93. And then one judge had it 96-94 for Galliano, and the other judge had it 96-94 for Devon Lee, giving the split decision win to Lee. He improves to 10 wins, 1 loss, and giving the win to Galliano. I got that reversed. Devon Lee got the split decision win. He moves to 7 wins and 2 losses, and Galliano, losing for the first time in his career, drops to 10-1. Now, Tevin Farmer was also on the card. He was up against a Grizzly veteran in Gamal Diaz, and he came away with a win. 2 of the judges scored at 97-90, and one had it 95-92 for Farmer, Tevin Farmer. He improves to 21 wins, 4 losses, and a draw, with 5 of his W's coming by knockout. And Diaz, he drops to 39 wins, 14 losses, and 3 draws. And also there was a a fight in the junior welterweight division. Shamel Pagan won a 6-round decision over Ryan Pacquiao. The way the judges scored that, 58-55, and two of them saw it 57-56. Pagan improves to 8-0 with 4 knockouts, and his opponent drops to 2 wins and 8 losses. And then if you want to check out all the rest of the mismatch fights that Lou DiBella seems to put on, especially on this series, just visit www.billycboxing.com for that. Let me just get you caught up on some other scores real quick. In the NBA, the Raptors took care of the Hawks 105-97. DeMar DeRozan had 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. And in the Nuggets-Grizzlies game, the Nuggets came out on top 109-105. Will Barton had 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. The Bucks topped the Suns 105-94. Chris Middleton, 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 assist. The Clippers clipped the Timberwolves 99-79. Chris Paul had 20 points, 8 rebounds, 16 assists in that game. The Mavericks beat up, they didn't beat up on them. They topped the Knicks in a close game, 91-89. J.J. Barrera, 26 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists for the Mavs. And the San Antonio Spurs just keep on winning, 100-92 over the Pelicans. Kawhi Leonard had 16.6 rebounds and 4 assists. And by the way, the San Antonio Spurs set an NBA record. They're 38 wins and 0 losses at home. Congratulations to the Spurs. Talk about a home field advantage, right? The Warriors topped the Jazz 103-96. Steph Curry, 31 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. The Kings, 120 over the Wizards to 111. DeMarcus Cousins, 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. And the Lakers squeaked by the Heat, 102-100. Jordan Clarkson, 26 points, 6 rebounds, and an assist. Over in the NHL, 3 games. The Senators topped the Jets 2-1. The Flyers over the Capitals 2-1 as well in a shootout. And the Ducks beat the Flames. Yes, they beat those Flames 8-3 in NHL hockey. So, also yesterday was a final press conference for I don't know if it was the final. They might have one more, but there was a I think it was the final press conference for the Adrian Broner Ashley Theophane fight that's for tomorrow. And Broner is so focused on his hatred towards Floyd Mayweather. He kept talking about it when he's supposed to talk about, Theophane. But here's what caught my eye. Nothing about Adrian Broner or even that fight interests me, but here's what caught my eye. Broner, he says on the podium, I'm kind of pissed that Floyd isn't here. Now, Floyd didn't show up. Now, remember, this was supposed to be a big showdown. Floyd said, I'm going to beat her, But as in true bully punk fashion, which I think Floyd is, he didn't show up because, he's probably scared that Adrian Broner might, rough him up a little bit, maybe step on his sneakers, because how Floyd only wears his shoes once and then that's it, right? You know that because he's got so much money. But the point is this. Broner says, I'm kind of pissed that Floyd ain't here. I want to thank you. I want to say thank you to About Billions Promotions, Headbanger Promotions, Hate Weather Promotions. And he says, oh, no, I'm sorry. I mean Mayweather Promotions. Now, Ellard Lennerby, Leonard Ellerby, I should say. He couldn't. This is a spokesman for Floyd Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions, and this guy is such a yes man. I don't think there's a brain in Leonard Ellerby's head. Really, I don't, and I think that's why Floyd keeps him around because Leonard Ellerby is a yes man. If Floyd tells him, jump over here, Leonard Ellerby says, yes, man, and does whatever he has to do. I think Leonard Ellerby has the brain the size of a jelly bean. And as a matter of fact, I think a jelly bean, since Easter just passed, has more brains than Leonard Ellerby. But this was Leonard Ellerby's response. And this was a scary response to me because this is what they have built Floyd Mayweather's whole career and legacy on. Leonard Ellerby responds to Adrian Broner. He says, Hate Weather Promotions? I don't think so. I mean, this is a guy that is acting like we were talking about school-age kids before. This is a guy that's acting like a kid. He says, hate weather promotions? I don't think so. The record speaks for itself, and the bankroll, too. The record and bankroll speaks for itself. Don't you people that drink the Kool-Aid of Mayweather thinking that he's so great, don't you think that the main reason you think he's great is because you've been brainwashed? You drank that Mayweather Kool-Aid to think he's so great only because he's 49-0 and he's got a boatload of money. Just because he's got a shitload of money and he's undefeated does not make him great. I'm sorry. It doesn't. What makes you great is the performance. Has he performed well? Yes, he has. He will get into the Boxing Hall of Fame because he's a good boxer. He's a better than good boxer. He's arguably one of the best of his generation. Is he the best ever? Absolutely not. There are fighters with 10 times worse records than people that are out there today that would have kicked the shit out of Floyd Mayweather. His own father, a young Floyd Sr., would have kicked the shit out of Floyd Jr. Anybody in the Fab Four, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, would have kicked the shit out of Floyd Mayweather. As a matter of fact, there's fighters that he avoided here in his own era that might have kicked the shit out of him. So, come on, man. Come on. It's a joke. Speaking of jokes, Shannon Briggs. I want to know who's talking about bankroll. Who's bankrolling Shannon Briggs to travel the world? Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Did you catch the video? I normally don't fall for it, but did you catch the video of him busting in to the David Hay press conference? It's actually entertaining. What I found entertaining wasn't so much of all the rhetoric that comes out of Shannon Briggs' mouth. Nothing like that. Okay, but what I really laughed at was David Hay. Because David Hay is clearly, what Shannon Briggs was saying was true. He's going, who's this guy? We never heard of him. He's talking about David Hay's opponent, right? Who is this guy? We never heard of him. You're fighting him. You're a chump. You're a chump. And David Hay is actually, trying to do damage control. Now, there's this big bouncer standing in front of Shannon Briggs like he's going to do something. That's another thing. If they don't know that Shannon Briggs is going to do anything, how does this guy just bust into these places? Obviously, they knew about it. Everybody was recording it. It seemed to be planned, at least one end of it. But if you haven't seen the video, go check it out. It's out there up on YouTube. David Hayes is making some kind of excuse. And to tell you the truth, I would like to see David Hay fight Shannon Briggs. Both of these guys are scam artists. They're fighting these and Shannon Briggs should talk. I mean, he hasn't fought anybody even remotely relevant to the heavyweight division. And David Hay is making excuses like, well, go get a head scan. Go get a head scan. Listen, his last fight was in Florida. Okay, Florida happens to have a rule that if you're 40 years old or older, you're required to provide a head scan. I forget if it's every year or every other year. Just as a safety precaution. So he just fought in Florida like several months ago. So that he's had a head scan at least that up to date. So David Hay clearly making excuses. The bottom line of the video was simple. They said, well, fight on our undercard and maybe we'll do it. So he says, listen, if you put me, Shannon, I say Shannon Briggs says, if you put me on the undercard and sign a contract that providing we both win, we fight next, I'll do it. Shannon Briggs seems to be serious. He's living in London. He claims he's got a place over there now. It seems to me that, Shannon Briggs is so desperate to get some fights that they're resorting to this. I mean, they were actually trying to negotiate during this press conference in public. The funniest part of it was David Hay says, all you're trying to do is get a payday. And I'm saying to myself, isn't that exactly what David Hay is doing? Crazy stuff. Anyway, I got an email I wanted to read from my man Jesse He says, "Hey, Billy C, I do watch and listen to your show. It's just that sometimes I don't have time to listen to the whole show. I just thought the new show was being played somewhere else." This is in response to me saying, "What, are you not listening to the show?" Actually, the show is available all the same places and then some more with our deal with KHZ Audio. We're now a iTunes and Android and Stitcher partner. So you can get the show very easily as a podcast. All you got to do on any of those platforms is just search Billy C Morning Show or the Billy C Morning Show, whatever. Now, if you're a YouTuber, you can still get the shows on YouTube. If you have always listened to us on the radio dial, you're still getting it. So nothing's changed there. So, hey, anyway. He says, how do you see Melindo versus Javier Mendoza? I like the fight. I think that it ought to be an interesting fight. I actually think that fight is close to 50-50. So, I haven't really broken it down and don't have an official pick. But I like the fight. I like the fight. And I don't even think that, no. But anyway, I was just saying, because I haven't even had a chance to break down the fights we have on the challenge this weekend. He says, "What's your thoughts on Travis Peterkin?" He fought yesterday, as a matter of fact, at on the Broadway boxing show. I believe. I think we just mentioned his win, right? I think he was on that card. I think that I think he's been coddled a little bit, but I think that, if DeBella allows him to fight a little stiffer opposition, I think that I think that he's going to be good. The problem with these promoters is they're so scared to put their fighters in against anybody with a pulse. Listen, anybody listening to the show has heard this all from me before, but the truth of the matter is you can't get better unless you increase your level of opposition. It's like any sport. That's why you see these fighters. That's why yesterday, the big topic yesterday was boxing is finally, in my opinion, finally become the WWE. Last week out of the Billy C Challenge, more than half, the majority of the people out of 16 players got 20 out of 20 right. And like my man James Keister was trying to, pat me on the back for saying it's because they listen to the show. But the truth of the matter is, it's because the fights are so predictable. Out of 16 people, 7 get 20 out of 20. I believe 5 got 19 out of 20. And then the remainder of the people got either 17 or 18 out of 20. That's still, even if you got 17 out of 20, you're beating the bookies. But then again, you're laying the bookies know how one-sided it is. If you ever want to see how fair a sport or a game or a fight is, watch what the bookies do. When the bookies come out, when the Vegas line comes out, and you see a line in a fight where you're laying $2,500 to win 100. That's called a lopsided fight, ladies and gentlemen. All right. The bottom line is, if you have an extra $100 to throw away, you throw it on the underdog. You never know what could happen, but chances are you're not going to win. He says, "Do you see Mike Dallas Jr. as a step up for Dusty Harrison?" Mike Dallas Jr. is a tough guy to really put your finger on. He was a fighter that had all this potential. And he was put in, I thought the right way. And he was progressively being moved up, and he hit a roadblock. And because he hit a roadblock, he was immediately labeled as an opponent. And unfortunately, and I love her dearly, and I don't even know if she's still managing him, but Jackie Kalin was her manager, was his manager. And I think that, because he lost and because there was some significant other fights that were offered to him for big money, I think they lost sight of their original plan to build him up. He's a tough guy. He's a good fighter. Is he a step up for Dusty Harrison? if the Mike Dallas Jr. that was on the rise before he suffered a couple of setbacks, I agree. I think he is a step up for Dusty Harrison, and I think that he would be a good test. The big question is, does Mike Dallas Jr. still look at himself as a contender, or has he accepted the opponent role? One last question from Jesse. He says, I heard that Crawford against Postal is still in the talks, but nothing done yet. It seems the talking is good, and it may happen this summer. I believe it will happen, Jess, because it's really one of the only options that those two fighters have with the network that they have their deal with. So that fight will come. They're just ironing out the money. Hey, listen, we're going to open up the phone lines right after this break. 845-228-8710. We'll be back in 2.
The Billy C. Morning Show will be right back.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't.
Hit Joe Lewis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought.
Huh?
What?
We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com, and tell them Billy C sent ya.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to the Billy C. Morning Show, part of the Billy C. Boxing Network. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening to the Billy C. Morning Show, being brought to you in part by JKJ Boxing Magazine, that is. Check it out, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the JKJ Boxing Magazine, which is on the right-hand side. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant. Check it out, www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com, or give my man Sal a call, 912-268-2328. That's 912-268-2328 for the best Italian food in the state of Georgia and beyond, because I've had very few that compare to my man Sal and the rest of his staff at Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant. Hey, we were just talking about Dusty Hernandez and Dusty Hernandez Harrison and Mike Dallas Jr.'s fight. It is signed, sealed, and delivered, by the way, in Washington, D.C. on May 13th. So just to follow up with that last email I got from my man Jesse. And one other thing, we've known this, but it was officially announced yesterday, that Charles Martin versus Anthony Joshua will air on American TV. As a matter of fact, it's going to be airing on Showtime on April 9th, next weekend, beginning at 5 p.m. Now, if you're out and about, depending upon what the weather is going to be like, they're going to re-show it on Showtime Extreme 3 hours later, just to maybe put a cramp in the style of the Pacquiao-Bradley 3 fight, which is going to be on pay-per-view. Joining us right now, I opened up the phone lines, and who do you think's on the line first? Me first himself, my man Joel. What's up, brother?
What's up, buddy? You know, just to add to that, I read the big fat guy, Rayfield, who blocked me on Twitter a long time ago, said in an article on his website that unfortunately they are not going to show, and I'm a little disappointed, the Eric Hunter and Lee Selby fight, because I believe Eddie Hearn changed the rotation of the fight bouts. So I guess that was maybe going to be right before, and the Joshua fight. But it wouldn't. I don't think it would ever be, because usually they don't like to put two fights back to back so big. They'll usually have like a swing bout or something. But whatever it is, so that fight's not going to be on the Showtime Extreme broadcast at all in America. You'll have to go online and watch that. But I mean, I'm disappointed, but I still like that. You know, we get the Joshua fight, and you know, I'm really excited that it looks like show. You know, I'll tell you for all you said, and I always agree with you. You know, almost every time. For such a lousy 2015, 2014, maybe even 2013 with Showtime, you know, they really have a good, strong spring schedule. I like that these big UK fights are being shown to us live. You know, they have Thurman Porter. And I mean, the list goes on and on. They have a couple of show boxers. I'm enjoying it, you know, because as much as I love HBO, I think the production's better. I just think that Showtime's got some intriguing cards and that they're giving us some international stuff that, you know, we really want to see.
First of all, I agree. Showtime is definitely moving forward, and they're taking over what we term here in the States as a cable network broadcast, and they're clearly taking over. They're flooding us with a quantity of fights, and HBO seems to be going in the opposite direction. Yes, they have I believe HBO has the quality fights, but they're definitely going to a different model. Showtime clearly is investing some money, time, and effort into bringing professional boxing. My hang-up is that the fights are too predictable, and one of the facts that can back that up is like last week's challenge, Joel. I mean, listen, it's great to go 20 for 20, but I also think that all of the people that are involved in our challenge are good. But come on, man. I mean, 7 of us were 20 out of 20. I mean, the odds in anything else going 20 out of 20, if it was competitive. I mean, aside from...
You made me cry. You made me cry. When I heard the other morning, and you said some of us, I thought I was good, and I just broke down in tears. I said, maybe Billy C's giving me a dose of reality. Maybe I'm just not that good.
well, the thing is when we can all look at it and pick out who's going to win so easily, it's crazy, man. But hey, so what do you think? What do you think of our topic today? That they're actually suggesting. I mean, we're getting comments from all kinds of different fighters and people that have been involved in the business that they're actually suggesting or trying to suggest that they outlaw headshots in the sport of boxing. I mean, if they ever did that, I think that would be the proverbial nail in the coffin for the sport. And I think there's several nails already in the coffin now. And I think if they tried to do that, it would be one last nail, and that's the end of it. Put it in the ground. What do you think?
I mean, what was his name around the time that I fell and had to have my surgery? It was in October. DC card, where they took off his gloves. I'm forgetting the name. Pritchard, was it Pritchard Cologne? Was that it?
Oh, yeah. Well, he's still in. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Him, Nick Blackwell. I mean, I was watching that fight illegally. I mean, on TV.
Right.
I mean, on the internet. Yeah, but I was watching that fight because there was a little space between the Kell Brook and Kevin Bizier fight, and those. You can't. It depends, Billy. You really. It's tough who to blame. I mean, if you want to place the blame on somebody, place it on the ref. What the hell was that ref doing? He was landing vicious uppercut after uppercut. I mean, shot after shot. And I saw Blackwell, leaning the back, against the ropes, hoping to land that Hail Mary. He did one time in the earlier rounds, I think 6 or 7. But, you can't blame the commissions, and these critics can't blame the sport. They should be blaming the ref, because there was a fight in since you're open to talking about other things now. There was a fight in in the UFC back in December. A local guy from Baldwin, Long Island, Chris Weidman. He threw a backwards head kick, a spinning back kick, and he pretty much made the fight go bad for him. He got taken down. And I'd say at the end of the 3rd round, I should try to find a clip if I can, a legal clip on YouTube. And because he was the champion, Chris Weidman, a young guy, very popular. He was very involved with MMA guys in New York, for going for the UFC, to these these meetings and stuff with the state. But he was getting brutalized. And I'm saying, all right, I love this guy, but this fight's got to stop. And it's not, you can't blame the sport. You got to blame the person that's conducting it. That referee, that's his fault. In the Nick Blackwell fight, not every fight I understand, is you can tell how the guy is doing mentally, because sometimes it's one shot and it can really hurt the person. But in some of these cases, it really need to come down on the ref, and in every state I feel like needs a Larry Hazard, like when he saved Arturo Gatti several years ago, back in the late 2000, before 2010, 2008. I think it has to come down on the ref, and if the ref's not doing the job, the director of the athletic commission, like the Larry Hazard, really needs to come down and say, listen, we're gonna go through protocol, but maybe this job's not cut out for you because you don't know the severity. Your job is to protect the fighters.
Well, listen, you make a good argument about the referees because I agree. We talked about that with Larry Hazard the other day. We've talked about that many times. The basic rule that they like to follow is it's better to stop a fight too soon than too late. But like we were talking about today with Sal Rocky Cencola, the bottom line is we need better trainers, Joel. The truth of the matter is if fighters aren't learning how to defend themselves the proper way, they're not being able to fight better fighters to get better. If they're just not being taught the right way, it doesn't take a jelly bean sized brain like Leonard Ellerby to figure out that something has to be done prior to this happening. We could be very easy and say, oh, let's ban headshots. And like they're saying in the chat room right now, let's make tackling illegal in football. Let's make a baseball. You can't, pitch it too fast. You got to start pitching underhand, slow, high pitch. All these things, instead of, it's like doctors today. Doctors treat the symptoms instead of finding the problem. You go into a doctor, you say, my arm hurts. Say, here, take this pill. That'll make your arm feel better. Rather than say, well, let's see what's causing your arm to hurt. You know what I mean? That's what we've become. We've become a system. Yeah, but I'm just saying we've become a society that tries to fix the symptom instead of trying to find the cause. Our political world is the same. We all look at symptoms and try to make corrections without getting to the root of the problem.
Didn't you? Weren't you talking about? You were talking about soccer before with Sal. Was that what I heard?
We were just saying. He's saying Sal's his kid's mom didn't want the kids to play football because she thought it was too dangerous. So instead, she made them, they chose soccer. And I said, soccer's dangerous, man. how many times do you see people hurt?
HBO Real Sports did a segment a couple months ago on women's soccer, and they said seriously that some of the women were having forgetfulness and some neurological issues because of heading the soccer ball. You're right. It's you talk to Dax or anybody who's if they like sports, I like hockey. Beside my combat sports interest, if Dax is a big football fan, I guarantee you ask him or you ask Coach. NFL is gonna stop tackling. It's gonna be flag football. They're gonna say to you, I'm not watching that crap. I agree. There's got to be, you got to get to the source of it. You have to have a good trainer. Like I remember when Gary Lockett pulled out Gavin Rees against Adrian Broner, I believe, several years, 3 years ago. That's the kind of people you need. You need a good ref. You need a good coach. A good trainer. Not a Freddie Roach who's going to tell Pascal, who's getting his head beaten in the Kovalev rematch, all right, fine, one more chance. This is ridiculous. Because I know you don't have too much time, I just want to rub it in your face. I definitely am ordering the Adamek Molina fight. I just want to get, since it is fight week for that card. I've been thinking about this. I don't know if I talked to Dax on Twitter, but was it Dax from Holland? But But I was wondering, because I think he said to me it's a possible fight. Molina wins. What do you think? Because I already filled out my picks. I sent it to you while you were in the middle of the show. I did them already, and I picked Domek. But I'm thinking, that it's not a big fight, with big implications for the winner. But I still think Eric Molina can possibly pull the upset. I mean, if the fight is separated by 2 rounds, going to the 12th, if it goes the distance, then I know they're going to give it to Adamek in Poland. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on what happens there.
Well, I tell you, if Eric Molina, who's actually a Don King fighter, if Eric Molina never fought Deontay Wilder, I don't think anybody would know who the hell he is. I mean, the truth of the matter is he kind of appeared in the rankings to have the WBC even accept the fight for Deontay Wilder, and as a result of him hanging in there and not being a fight that Deontay Wilder just blew out in a round or two, I think people are starting to look at him with a little more seriousness, like you're suggesting now. Double checking your pick, and from what I've heard, Eric Molina is in really good shape. He's is in better shape than he was for the Deontay Wilder fight. However, he's got some other issues. Number one, like you just said, for him to beat Tomasz Adamek, he's going to have to knock out Tomasz Adamek in Poland. There's no other way he's going to win. That's number one. Number two, he's got Stacey McKinley in his corner, and if you follow Stacey McKinley, the one of the kisses of death in the sport of boxing is Stacey McKinley and a one-time self-proclaimed matchmaker, Al Banani. And if you have either one of those two guys working with you, chances are you're not gonna go that far. So that's strike 2, and then finally, strike 3 actually falls on Tomasz Adamek. How much mileage is on him? If he has rested, he's a tough out. He's got a solid chin. He comes to fight. I think that Molina is perfect for him. I think it might be entertaining for a little while, but at the end of the day, Tomasz Adamek is going to win that fight. I officially picked Tomasz Adamek, but hey, I personally think Tomasz Adamek is hanging on too long. Joel, I think maybe.
But they're calling this the final call. Does that mean he's hanging it up? Because I'm seeing on BoxRec it is for a vacant IBF Intercontinental Heavyweight title. Now, if Adamek wins at 39 years old and with 54 fights, already, Saturday will be 55. Does he say, hey, I have a alphabet trinket. I should keep trying to fight and get that reclaim a chance at the world title? I don't know what the whole thing of final call means. To me, that sounds like he's hanging it up. But if he wins some sort of secondary belt, will he say, maybe this is my way of a path of, finally getting another shot at the belt? I really hope not, but I'm just confused why they're calling it the final call if it's for a vacant belt.
It's not for a vacant world title belt.
No, Intercontinental.
Right,
no, I know. I know that, but I'm just saying, that would be a path to getting
exactly. Well, the way these sanctioning bodies work now is they work with a promoter. Adamek is a name. Adamek makes a promoter money, and Adamek makes money himself, especially when he fights in Poland. So if Adamek beats Eric Molina, who, the newer generation of fans know because Deontay Wilder beat him, then I'll bet you right now that he becomes some kind of a mandatory, or at least gets in another opportunity to fight an elimination fight, to fight the winner of, the Charles Martin Anthony Joshua fight, because that's for an IBF title. So yeah,
that's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. I wouldn't think they would go the route of Wilder, but more or less maybe the winner of Charles Martin, and maybe the winner goes to Poland because Adamek's a big name and they could make the most money. That's what I was thinking. You're absolutely right.
100%. And the reason why they do it is because Tomasz Adamek is a draw, at least in Poland. He's actually a draw in the state of New Jersey, and he's easy for a promoter to promote because he's a name that's been out there. How many times How many times have you heard us say on this show, recycled a fighter? And these promoters use it because they're lazy. Listen, it's not just the lack of talent we have from fighters, and it's not just the lack of quality trainers we have. We have lack of talent in our promoters. They're all lazy and greedy. They've taken all of the stuff that Don King is criticized for, being greedy and this and that, Bob Arum being greedy and this and that. The promoters of today, at every level, Joel, I'm talking about a promoter that does a small little show, they're all greedy. Listen, I'm in the trenches with these guys. I see what they try to do. Every promoter thinks that they can make a ton of money just by selling tickets. And their motto, don't spend a penny. And the end result is what the sport is in. Could you just imagine? I know you're a hockey fan. Could you imagine if the NHL decided that they weren't going to spend any money to promote the league, or if the NFL did that, or if Major League Baseball or World Cup soccer, any other sport, if they decided that they weren't going to spend money or really shave their budgets down to zero? And just fleece the fan. How long do you think that the fans would put up with it? The boxing fan just gets smacked around. They're just like the sport. The boxing fan has become the journeyman in boxing. They're the punch-drunk fan because we're all getting punched so many times by the promoters and the networks and the sanctioning bodies that we're punch-drunk. We don't even know what quality fighters are anymore. It's a joke. I was reading comments from people that still think Floyd Mayweather is great and still have been brainwashed and drank the Kool-Aid to suggest that Floyd Mayweather's style of fighting is the definition of the sweet science. And that's such bullshit, Joel, because the sweet science, the definition, hit and not get hit, but you have to be in position to inflict damage on your opponent. Floyd Mayweather avoids a punch, but he's across the ring. He can't hit you can't hit him, but he can't hit you either. You gotta be close enough to land a punch. If I can avoid a punch from you and punch you at the same time, that's the sweet science. If you avoid a punch from me and then neither one of us could even connect with a punch because you're so far away from me, that's called running. And that's what I look at Floyd as, not a sweet science. Come on, man. Terrence Crawford is more of an example of the sweet science.
Oh, hell yeah.
Even Triple G is. He displays all kinds of stuff. Andre Ward displayed more sweet science in his last fight because he at least was in the pocket. He was avoiding punches. He was counter punching. That is the sweet science, my friend.
No, I agree. I got two more things. I know I always play Columbo, but I got two more things and I'm gonna let you go, I promise. One more. The first thing is more or less just a comment about yesterday. David Hay and Arnold Jurje, joke of a fight.
Did you see the video? By the way, did you see the Shannon Briggs video when he busted in on it?
Yeah, that actually was funny because you were trying to pronounce his name, and I'm pretty good with pronouncing these Albanian names, but I wanted to watch the press conference to see how they said it. And he said Jurje, so you guys were right yesterday. But I did see a little of that, and then David Hay said, go get sanctioned by a medical board or whatever he said, and then I'll fight you. But I just think, on the topic of David Hay for 1 second, that it's his way of, a former, like the typical former title challenger, like Derek Chisora in a way. He's back, trying the EDU title. David Hay is doing the same thing. He's fighting these guys who are undefeated or have David D. Morey or whatever, and then Jurje, undefeated, but he's, by the way, I wanted to say, I was talking to myself, pretending I was talking to you when you were talking on the show yesterday. When you talked about him fighting Dennis Backtoff, I read he actually Jurje struggled against him. The scorecards were 116, 111, 115, 112, 117, 111, all in favor of Jurje. But I was reading a report after that fight last June that he seriously struggled against him. So, I mean, if you really want to say that he beat him, is kind of a question mark. But I just think that fight's a joke. And lastly, I wanted to just touch on base of I forgot who I was talking to. I was talking to a friend, and I just feel like if Bradley beats Pacquiao in the trilogy, which I kind of hope he does, I feel like it opens up a lot more avenues for Bradley than it does Pacquiao. What do you think? Like, because I think you talked about, was it you that talked about it? Maybe that they could fight Thurman, or there was somebody in the chat room, they could fight all these guys. And I mean, you know, now with Al Heyman seemingly working with whatever puts money in his pocket, you know, that would be the opportune thing. If he beats Pacquiao on the 9th, then you could do a Thurman fight. You could do a Porter fight. You could do a Danny Garcia fight. You know, and that to me is very intriguing. I don't know if I really want to see a kind of a faded, worn Pacquiao, even if he wins, fight those guys. So that's kind of why I'm hoping Bradley wins. I just want to get your quick thoughts on that.
I think if Bradley wins the fight, that'll be clearly a torch passing, especially for Top Rank. And I think Timothy Bradley would catapult his value up, and with the addition of Teddy Atlas, I agree with you. I think that he would be the guy. If Manny Pacquiao wins that fight, there's only one fight that Manny Pacquiao will fight, and that's going to be the rematch with Mayweather. Mayweather's waiting to see what happens with Pacquiao. If Pacquiao does not beat Bradley, Mayweather will not fight Bradley, because Mayweather does not fight anyone that's a challenge. He's actually suggesting that he would consider fighting Triple G, which is all bullshit, because Floyd Mayweather, unless Triple G, becomes has a sex change operation and comes Gertrude Triple G, maybe quadruple G, then Floyd isn't going to feel comfortable, because he can only beat up women. But I think that maybe a guy on his radar, aside from the winner of Victor Ortiz, because don't be surprised if that happens, but Floyd Mayweather might target Adrian Broner. I don't know. Since boxing has become the WWE, that's more realistic. Hey, before I let you go, what do you think of Whoopi Goldberg? I mean, Whoopi Goldberg getting into the pot business, and she wants to make more edibles. I mean, come on, man. She's a pot brownie away from 500 pounds. She's become a fat pig. I can't stand listening to her.
I don't really watch The View, even though I'm not working, and I think that's what she's on. I don't know where she mentioned it, but I have zero interest in her. I think she's washed up. I've never done anything like that. I think that it's absolutely stupid to do that stuff. It's bad for her image. It's bad for her image.
Well, her image. Listen. Everybody knows she's smoking weed for her whole life. But my point is who the hell? Exactly what you said. That's my point. I don't watch The View. I just saw it on a news clip about that, and I'm seeing a recent picture of it. I'm going, oh my God, Whoopi Goldberg is 600 pounds. First of all, who the hell would listen to her? And I got pissed off that they were all criticizing. A lot of women are criticizing Susan Sarandon because she said she's not going to vote for that criminal known as Hillary Clinton. And
are you a Trump fan?
Listen. I feel that our government needs a reboot. And I feel that Donald Trump is a guy that's going to reboot it. I don't think he's a long-term solution, because he's not right. But what I do think that he could do, and what I'm confident that Donald Trump would do, is because of his ego, and I said this on yesterday's show, because of his ego, he would surround himself with people that would be successful. So he would be a figurehead like all presidents are. A lot of people in this country believe that the president has all this power. They really don't. They're a figurehead, just like the Queen is in England. All right? I mean, the truth of the matter is if you surround yourself with the right people, you can do a good job and get all the accolades. Obama had to pay back all of the people that helped him get into the White House, and that's why he's surrounded by imbeciles. Donald Trump would surround himself. But Donald Trump would surround himself with quality people that wouldn't hurt his own ego. So that's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Donald Trump thinks he's a great leader, but I think that. That's what he would do. Hillary and any other, lifelong politician is just going to surround themselves with the payback favors, man. And we're going to end up in the same boat. I can't stand how the media is trying to dictate how this whole election system is working. By they're supposed to report news, not stimulate it, not make it, and that's what's happened in this country. This country's in trouble. We think boxing's in trouble. This country's in trouble, brother.
No, you're right. I agree. but I'll let you go. And so you are going to be doing a show tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be doing. I think next Friday we're not, but tomorrow we're on. Man, hey, the first week of the morning show, we got to do a whole week, bro.
No, I got to say, I'm really happy. I like that you touch on the base of sports and politics. I think it's cool. Anything you say, I'm always interested in, and I'm always here to support you. Like I said to you in the morning, I go to the gym Monday through Wednesday, so I may not be in the chat room, for much of the show. But Thursday and Friday that you're on, I'm here for you, buddy. And I'm gonna order a mug. I like that mug. That mug looks awesome. By the way, real quick, what coffee do you like? Because you mentioned coffee. What do you drink? What's your coffee of choice?
My coffee of choice? I like chock full of nuts, man. But I mean,
you don't like anything fancy?
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I'm a man. I'm a man. I drink a man's coffee, man. But I tell you the truth. And I know we know what this store is. Convenience store around here, but we don't have. I don't know how far they go. But Cumberland Farms has a really good coffee, man. They make a good coffee in Cumberland Farms. They just promoted Cumberland Farms. They should pay me for that. But hey, by the way, speaking of the mugs. We're real close to closing a deal, or actually, KHZ Audio closed a deal where you can order a bunch of Billy C. Morning Show stuff. Stay tuned for that. You might be able to order it direct. And we blew up the logo a little bigger, so you can.
So is my T-shirt outdated? That means you're gonna have a new T-shirt. I have to get a new T-shirt now.
Your T-shirt is still good, man. But we are. You can get a new T-shirt. I mean, they got T-shirts. Yeah,
I probably will. I love the T-shirts. I love supporting.
I don't even have one. I can't believe how many people like the mugs, man. But they are pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
I know. I saw it, and then it was funny because I don't know if you read my thing or you just said it on your own the other morning. I said to Dax or just out and loud in the chat. I says, I like that mug. I want to get it. And you said, well, if you want that mug, and I was laughing because I wasn't sure if you read it or not. But all right, look, I'll let you go, buddy. I appreciate your time as always. I love the new format. Love the new show. I like the mornings. I hope you're happy. I'm happy, and I'll continue listening to the show. And I hope you have a great rest of the week. Enjoy your weekend, buddy.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Take care. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Joel's happy. I'm happy. I guess basically we're all a bunch of happy motherfuckers.
The Billy C. Morning Show will be right back. Part of the Billy C. Boxing Network.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe. On the web and radio. He would scoff at the stretch of that man, I would think.
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. from upstate New York and the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. And tell them Billy C sent ya.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to the Billy C. Morning Show. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com. Part of the Billy C. Boxing Network.
And we're back. You're listening to the Billy C. Morning Show. Right here on, you could be watching it on YouTube, our YouTube channel. www.youtube.com/talkinboxing. That's TALKINBOXING. You could be watching on BillyCBoxing.com. You could be listening through a podcast on KHZ Audio. You could be watching on or listening through a radio dial. So wherever you're listening, glad to have you. Hey, did you ever notice? I don't know. I mean, I like the birds. I like feeding birds and checking out birds and stuff. you ever notice if you've ever done that and like the bird feed is empty? And these birds, they look at the empty bird feeder, and it's like they start pounding on the window and stuff. Yo, man, give me some friggin' bird seed. What the hell's up, man? How's a bird to survive without the bird seed? I mean, come on, man. I mean, go porridge for some food out there. Go dig a worm up or something. I don't know. Speaking of digging up, Dax joins us right now. What's up, brother?
What's going on, everybody? Enjoying this morning show, man. I have to say I am.
Good. I'm glad you are, man, because that was important. I wish you had more time, and you'd be able to spend more time on the show with us, man. But that would be great, you know. But so, what do you think, Dax? Today's headline, I'm shocked, and they want to outlaw headshots. In boxing. I mean, if they do that, it's over, right?
I can't see it happening.
Oh, me neither.
I mean, really, it's preposterous. Just the thought of it, Bill. I have a hard time even talking about it because it's boxing. It's boxing. The point of boxing is you hit the head and the body. It's boxing. It's not body punching. It's not kicking in the rear end. It's boxing. How do you outlaw headshots?
Hey, listen.
Like you stated before, no tackling in football.
I know.
In soccer, no kicking the ball where it's going to go above the waist. In hockey, no slap shots.
Hey, listen. You know what's ironic, though? Check this out. I don't mean to interrupt you, but you said a perfect thing. It just jogged my old brain. If they outlaw headshots in boxing, right? How ironic it is, because we're always talking how nobody works the body anymore. What would happen to the sport? They would just stand there and look at each other. Nobody works the body anymore. So I mean, we praise fighters that launch a body attack, and everybody else is a headhunter. They eliminate, punching a fighter in the head. We're gonna just have staring. We'll just call it staring. No more boxing.
Well, somewhere right now, Mickey Ward is thinking about this, going, I never needed a headshot.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's what I mean. Well, all the great fighters had pulverizing body shots that would set up, especially knockout punches, that would set up the knockout. And again, it goes back to what I was talking about in the beginning of the show today, Dax, about the lack of teachers. And I'm not a big teacher fan, but I'm talking about a trainer that actually teaches his fighters. When I watch, guys like Andre Rozier and some of these other, joke of a trainers, acting like they're, a psychiatrist in the corner. I mean, all of that should be done in the gym. During a fight, I mean, all we should be seeing is game plan modification. A good trainer is a trainer that can modify a game plan and make adjustments. End of story. At least that's my opinion.
Well, that topic comes up more and more often. I think we were discussing a little bit of that on Monday when we were speaking about Andre Ward and the dynamics he has with Virgil Hunter, being with somebody for so long. And you're absolutely correct. All that stuff gets done in the gym. And during a fight, it doesn't matter how long you've been with your trainer. Sometimes you do have to explore a little bit of psychology. But, a good trainer who's been around the business a long time or even been with their fighter a long time, they know which type of that psychology needs to be done with that fighter in the ring for that moment. Of course, the thing that everybody, over the last, 40 years has ever followed the sport will always refer to that time with Sugar Ray Leonard in the corner with Angelo Dundee's yelling into his face, "You're blowing it, son. You're blowing it, son." But guys know exactly what needs to be said to certain fighters in that corner, and that's part of what makes a fighter successful is if you have a trainer who knows the way you think you're working and what needs to be said to you, instead of these trainers that you see come out with these ridiculous stuff where you're sitting there going, why is he saying this? And the fighter's looking at him like, I have no idea why this guy's saying this, or the trainers that say nothing at all. In my opinion, and this again is just my opinion, I think those are trainers that are kind of themselves a little bit panicked over in the corner. Hey, I don't know how to help my guy turn this around.
Yeah, but you've said it best in the past. You've made a point about it, and you've even put a top trainer like Freddie Roach on blast. You've called it, I believe, 100% accurate. When a trainer is more interested in their own ego, and it's like they're worried about what people are going to think of them as a trainer versus actually teaching their fighter something or, protecting their own fighter. You got trainers with egos. You got trainers that are rah-rah men. You got trainers that think that they're psychiatrists. You got trainers that are nutritionists. We got everything but good old-fashioned boxing trainers. You know how I always talk about boxing used to be a trade. You got into the sport as a kid. You became a pro. You stayed in the sport after your pro days were over. You were a manager, a gym owner, a trainer, a promoter. Those are called boxing people that are in the sport, like every other sport. Boxing's not like that today.
It's not like that today, and whatever happened to the days where you had a team and your team consisted of only 2 or 3 guys that helped you prepare, of course, and that doesn't include your sparring partners and so on. I'm talking about in your camp. A lot of the big fighters, they had themselves, and this, of course, is the highest level, the big-name fighters. They had a cook who pretty much, he wasn't a dietitian, he was a cook, and this guy already knew what foods that the camp, not just the champion, but everybody in the camp, what they needed to keep going. And that was his role. Then you had yourself, not your head trainer, but you had the assistant trainer who kept everybody else in line and kept everybody else going, made sure the sparring partners were doing what they had to do, and make sure everybody was going to sleep at night, collaborating, with your head trainer. Then you had the head trainer who was basically the supervisor of it all. Yes, not to reuse, but he was the head of it all, meaning he overlooked everything, and he's the guy that came up with the whole plan. He collaborated what was going to go on in the gym. He's the one that sat down with fighters, had fighters watch footage of tapes. He's the one that would sit there and say, listen, look at this. Notice at this time. Notice every time he throws that jab, he pulls back to the left. Notice when he throws that hook, he drops the left hand. He's open for the counter. We don't have that anymore, and that's all you needed, and that's what made guys successful, that and the hard work inside the gym. But, nowadays you got these nutritionists. They know nothing about boxing. They're nutritionists. Great, you're helping the guy lose weight, but you know what? There's different ways to lose weight for a fighter. You can't cut things a certain way. Certain things just can't go into the body. Certain things are good for muscles. Certain things are bad. So sometimes, you can't just cut this water weight fast. And, they're not, they don't specialize in athletics, I should say. They're just basically, it doesn't matter if it's a world champion or Alice the housewife. These guys could be doing the same thing for anyone, and it just seems to be destroying sport and putting everything in chaos.
I hear you, man, and it's sad, and I don't know. It's really interesting to see what's going to unfold over the next several months. Hey, Dax, as we wrap up here, I got to ask you a non-boxing question. I don't know when you started listening to the show this morning, but one of my news things that caught my eye this morning was a guy, Anthony Lynn, is riding the subway to work, and a rat crawls on the guy sitting in front of him, on his neck, a rat on his neck. Now, what this guy does, because the guy was sleeping. The other guy was sleeping in the subway on his way to work, and a rat crawls up on this guy's neck while he's sleeping. Now, Anthony Lynn, rather than, help the guy and scat the rat away or whatever, wake his ass up, he whips out his phone, he starts filming it, all right? Let me ask you a question. If somebody's sitting in front of you on a subway and a rat comes out, I know what I would do. I would probably get up and move my friggin' seat. But what would you do? Would you wake his ass up, or would you start filming the shit? Come on, man.
Shoo the rat, at minimum, shoo the rat away. My gosh, but that's just the society in general that we live in, and the fact that somebody's going to put that on the internet, that's the mentality. Everybody wants to be famous. We spoke about Dorian Murray, who unfortunately passed away, that little brave child with cancer, and he just wanted to be famous, but he wanted to be famous for different reasons. And everybody got behind him, the celebrities, with D Strong, and that was great. But the reason why I bring that up is these videos, like the World Star Hip Hop, in my opinion, has to be the worst, where they're always showing these fights or people getting hurt, and you have somebody filming it, and you see there's been videos out there where old women are getting punched and old men are getting beat up and slammed to the ground, and these are like, Bill, these are actually, felony crimes. These are crimes where people can go away for 20 years, 30 years. We see people getting jumped, but you know what? It's all about the fame. They want that little 2 seconds of fame, and the society is buying into it. The fact that people will sit there and watch it, the fact that these videos get millions and millions of hits and views, and if you ever read the comments that are on it, it's sickening. It's scary to think about what's going to happen in another 20 years, and you wonder why, people want to carry guns, and that's, we won't get into that topic, but, you get people, you have half of them, these young guys want to carry guns because they think they're gangster, and then the older people want to, they carry these guns because, hey, you know what, I got to protect my family. The society's out of control. Before I go, Bill, before we go, I was going to say something, the Lucas Brown situation is really driving me nuts over there. What happened? I believe Lucas Brown, I'll go on record, was a clean fighter. Tyson Fury came out with a video in an interview where he stated, that's why when I was there, I wouldn't drink this water they kept handing to me. Because, he goes, they keep wanting to hand me this water for no reason. They're just coming up and offering me these bottles of water. I'm too smart for that. And he's absolutely correct. What's wrong with this, and how is this allowed to happen? And this is a reason why I think sometimes boxing needs some sort of international commission, because, wherever you're going, you never know what's going to happen, because these people can just pull the rug out from under you. There's a writer, I don't know, do you read a lot, Bill?
I read a lot, but most of my stuff that I read are all sports related.
But you know who Quentin Tarantino is, right?
Of course, I love his movies.
All right, there's a novelist out of Russia. His name is Vladimir Sorenkin, and he's pretty much known as the Russian Quentin Tarantino because he writes these odd stories. And he has this novel out called The Q, which, if you ever read it, it's a great book if you like that type of odd Quentin Tarantino type things. And the plot of the book is basically all these people, they come every day and they wait on this line of this store type place, almost like a Sam's Club type place. And they're waiting online and they leave, and for days and days they're online, and they have no idea what they're waiting online for. And they speculate the whole time they're online what it is. And they talk to each other and they plan what they're going to do once they get this, if it's what they're hoping for. And in the end, Bill, it turns out that they find out they're waiting online for nothing because there is nothing there once you finally get to your, you get up to the counter. And that's what it's like for these fighters, these visiting fighters that go over there. Except the fighters, Bill, they know why they're going there. They know they're going for a title. They're going for, a big career win, the next step. Except in the end, they find out, it's all for nothing because this commission over there or this team and these promoters over there always seem to find a way to pull the rug out from everybody if you go over there and you're successful against one of their hometown fighters. And this isn't the first time we've seen it happen. Lucas Brown isn't the first guy it happened with, and it's not the first time it happened with the WBA. If you remember the rematch between Guillermo Jones and Denis Lebedev, when Don King was sued due to the fact that Jones had failed that second drug test, the WBA wanted to let it go on, but the Russian Commission wasn't going to let it go on. And the drugs that some of these people are taking are not, your standard drugs. These are these pharmaceuticals that really have nothing to do with enhancement. And especially, for a heavyweight to take, these type of these drugs in such a short amount of time, they would not be effective. To take a drug like what Lucas Brown was accused of, and when he was clean, a week before going in there, in just a week, this drug would not have done his body any good. This is a drug that would take a long-term amount of time to do something with. Clenbuterol, and there was a few other ones that these people were taking over there, over the years, the furosemide, the same thing with Guillermo Jones, he's failed other drug tests, but, with this test, the amount that was in his system, according to the Russian Commission over there, it really wasn't enough where he would have been able to take it for a long time to do anything, to benefit him in any way. It was such a minute amount. Same thing with Marius Wack, when Marius Wack went over there. And they had to clear Marius Wack because, they really had no solid evidence, so they had to brush it underneath the rug. There was that guy from down south, here, I forget how to pronounce his name, his first name. The last name is like Duradola. He goes over there and he blows out that cruiserweight Dmitry Krajashov, and in 2 rounds. And all of a sudden, his test comes back dirty. And then when they try to get another test on him, all of a sudden the commission drops it. And a lot of the people involved in this is World of Boxing LLC. They seem to be the ones that are behind that a lot of times, and they're the first ones to start complaining, and the samples get lost. I just don't understand it. It really is, the sport. You say it's like WWE. It's more like the Twilight Zone, and it's going on throughout the whole sport, Bill. Not just in a couple places, the whole sport, and you never know what's going to happen afterwards.
Well, I agree with you, and the from what I understand, what they did test Lucas Brown turned out to be like a drug that's used to cut weight, which makes no sense because he's a heavyweight. But the biggest culprit is greed. And it's greed on every single aspect because, if you know that you're going to go over to Russia and not get a fair shake, who's advising you or telling you or making the deal to go there? It's most likely your manager or promoter who's getting the big cut, the big money, it's all the driver of all of the negativity in the sport of boxing, and any sport for that matter, is greed. And it's something that is hard to police. It's hard to control. You just need people that are genuine. In this sport of boxing, attracts, greedy people that are looking for the easiest way to make a buck, and they don't care who is in their way, and they'll do whatever they have to do. And it's so obvious. And it's sad, and people just like Leonard Elby, using fighting a war of words with Adrian Broner on a 3rd grade level, and what does he do? He throws that negative comment that Broner makes, calling Mayweather Promotions hate weather promotions, and Leonard Elby's answer is, I don't think so. Look at his unbeaten record and look at how much money he makes. He's the best. I mean, come on, and that's what a lot of these young fans, look at. They look at the money and the record, and to them that equals greatness. And to me, it's sad. But some great points, Dax. And tomorrow, when we come on, we're going to have the phone lines open again and let people drive it. So hopefully you'll have some time and come on and give us your thoughts about whatever's happening tomorrow, man.
Whatever's happening tomorrow, and have something a little more in depth about this that maybe you can speak about, or talk to Sal about, and the other people about, next week, and get some of the fans' input on this. There's a little more behind this, and this pharmaceutical company that from what I understand is kind of helping along and providing these drugs that everybody's getting caught with, and because a lot of them are drugs that you need a prescription for, so it's very odd. So
Yeah.
As far as Leonard Elby, I understand. I agree with you 100%. I'll just leave with this, Bill. I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly. That's the whole thing. And then that's when Adrian Broner goes, same thing, only worse. Oh, what? So yeah, no. But all right, man. Sounds good. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, everybody. Enjoy your day.
That's Dax Khan. Check out his column up on BillyCBoxing.com.
Wake up. It's time for It's too early for a trivia question.
Today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question. It's Trivia Question is being brought to us by the Southern Gourmet Spice Company. If you're looking for a unique spice that makes everything taste so much better, check out Kenny Bears. Visit www.billycboxing.com. Click on the Southern Gourmet Spice banner and order yourself a bottle of Kenny Bears right now. And trust me, you won't regret it. Hey, I'll tell you what. If you don't like it, send it back for a full refund. Tell them Billy C said you. All right? Tell them Billy C said that if you didn't like it, you could return the bottle for a full refund. Order your bottle today. Hey, come on. Am I telling you how good this stuff is? Check it out, www.billycboxing.com. Click on the Southern Gourmet Spice banner and order a bottle of Kenny Bears with a money-back guarantee. Just return the unused portion. You know the deal. Today, it's too early for a trivia question. Question is a boxing question. It was supplied by our trivia question guru, Henry Heskup, and nobody's getting it right. It's a who am I question, and I got some big hints at the end. I once stopped the world champion in less than a round, and then in my very next fight, I got to learn how to read. I stopped his brother. Who am I? I once stopped the world champion in less than a round, and then in my very next fight, I stopped his brother. Who am I? If you're the first one to email me the correct answer, Billy@TalkinBoxing, that's TalkinBoxing.com, you'll win a Title Bout Championship computer game. That's right. That's what's on the line. And it's a good simulation game, especially if you're involved with our challenge or you like to gamble with your friends or whatever. It's a great game. You can put anybody against anybody from any era, any weight class, all that stuff. And the computer, based on data, gives you a fight scenario, which is pretty cool. So if you're the first one to answer this question by emailing me, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com, you'll win that prize. I'm going to read it one more time with the hints. I once stopped a world champion in less than a round, and then in my next fight, I stopped his brother. Who am I? The hint, this guy was a world champion. He fought both of these fights. Let's just say both of these fights took place before 1915. Both of these fights with this former world champion took place before 1915. That narrows it down. You got to be able to get it now. Listen to me. Like, if somebody asked me that, I probably wouldn't get it off the top of my head. But I'm sure you can search it. Good luck to everyone on that. Email me the correct answer, Billy@TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com. And one thing, my man, Coach, don't get it right. Because, if Coach, I'm sick of sending prizes to Coach. Coach has a whole area in his house filled with Billy C prizes. So somebody other than Coach. Good luck to everyone on that.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, this day in boxing history is being brought to us by my book. Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now where all good books are sold. And as a matter of fact, you can get it right now by visiting barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. Now, if you're looking to get a signed copy, check out our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click on the book club section and follow the directions. If you want to get a discounted signed copy, just run into me. No, not my car. Run into me at a live sporting event. I always have some with me. I'll be glad to sell you one at a discount price and sign it. And speaking of selling and discount prices, I will have a table with my man James Curl up at the International Boxing Hall of Fame on the during the baseball card show on Saturday, so you can get a copy then as well. Either way, get a copy of my book, Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, ASAP. On this day, March 31st in 1980, Eddie Gregory knocks out Marvin Johnson in the 11th round. The win the WBA World Light Heavyweight title took place in Tennessee. On this day in 1990, Terry Norris knocks out John the Beast Mugabe in the first round. To win the WBC World Junior Middleweight title took place in Tampa. On this day in 1984, Wilfredo Gomez wins a 12-round decision over Juan Laporte to win the WBC World Featherweight title took place in Puerto Rico. On this day in 2003, Rosendo Alvarez wins a 12-round decision over Bibas Mendoza to win the vacant world and retain the WBA World Junior Flyweight titles in Little Rock, Arkansas. On this day in 1980, Mike Weaver, Hercules, knocks out John Tate in the 15th round to win the WBA World Heavyweight title took place in Knoxville, Tennessee. On this day in 1973, Kenny Norton wins a 12-round split decision over Muhammad Ali to win the NABF heavyweight title. Norton broke Ali's jaw in the first round, and Muhammad Ali continued to fight for the next 11 rounds. We keep talking about how the fighters of today are not like the fighters of yesterday. And finally, on this day, March 31st, in 1878, 1878, my man Jack Johnson was born. And my man Jack Johnson, as you know, he's one of my all-time great fighters. He's one of my all-time favorite fighters. This is a guy that was the world heavyweight champion, the first Afro-American world heavyweight champion, boxing Hall of Famer, and in my opinion, one of the top pound-for-pound all-time greats ever to lace on a pair of gloves. So happy birthday, Jack Johnson, wherever you are. And I'll leave you with this. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, ciao, baby.